absolutely nuts. But walking in these shoes, I don't discredit anyone. I don't judge. I just listen. So lo and behold, James Walberg talked about Dr. Hall, and just by coincidence, I was at a conference in Austin, Texas that my company was holding, and I had written him an email, and through the graciousness, he took time out to meet me at 1:45 one night. And the resort was very, very helpful. They set aside a room where Dr. Hall could bring his equipment, and I explained to him. And what it did is it put more fire in me to say, now we've got him.
Right.
Because with his equipment, he was able to scan those areas and ensure they're red hot. In addition, we were able to get numeric frequencies for a few of the chips. And to my surprise, I had more chips than I ever imagined. Or more positive hits on the frequencies. I want to say I need to be very careful. Positive hits of the frequencies, and we've got some other numerical frequencies in other areas. Well, about 2 weeks ago, I had a biopsy done because I have a tumor on my right flank. And I got the results back yesterday. But in Austin, Dr. Hall had scanned that area, and sure enough, I got a frequency hit in my right flank, exactly where that tumor is at. Thank God it's benign. But I also got a call that they're going to surgically remove it. And the production company is saying, and my attorney is saying, under no circumstances are you going to be put under anesthesia without having any credible people there who are there for your best interest. So the entire process is going to be filmed. And hopefully soon here, we will move forward. And with the help of my circle of influence, we can help many people in many ways, both on the legislative side, on the side of holding those people accountable who are doing this. And I do know that I recommend people this. I really like it when I hear someone say, stop being a victim. Because you have a choice here. You have a choice to be a victim, sulk, and then they got you. How you respond to anything emotionally is your choice. I always liken it to this. If we can imagine a white box being in the middle of this room, and on that box it has your name, and it has every slanderous remark in the world about you in a negative way. When you look at that box and I ask you, how does it make you feel? A lot of people are going to say many different things. It says, it makes me angry, it makes me depressed, it makes me sad. But the ones who are learning to overcome are going to say this, it doesn't make me feel any way, because no matter how you look at it, it's just a white box. That's all I have to say.
Can I say something? My mother used to say to me, before she died, if people are talking bad about you, or if they're talking good about you, you must be important enough to be talked about.
Good point.
Old Wright has the expression, if the flak is heavy, you know you're over the target.
Jesse, I had a couple questions and one comment to make. Are you still in the process of going after getting these foreign bodies in your jaw removed?
Yeah. Here, the foreign bodies, we are in the process of doing that.
Okay.
We only need one foreign body.
Right.
We only need one foreign body to help everybody.
Right.
I agree with you. Okay. And I know, as John and I have both said, many of the sources that we have researched and even spoken with, you may be one of the rare people that has an implant that is still, I don't want to say it's wonderful, but it
hasn't been wonderful.
I know. I say that in the sense that something like that, and this is what we've told Jimmy Walberg too, is that something like that, if it can be removed and definitively identified, that's concrete proof. So that is great. So I'm glad that you're pursuing that route.
The Director of Homeland Security in Sacramento County has taken over my case.
Good.
I spoke with
So
him
he's providing you some protection.
immediately after I spoke with Dr. Wahlberg the next morning. That's exactly what
Good.
that's about.
And I think you're approaching it the right route. You need some people in there during the procedure that you trust to ensure that the chain of command on its removal.
Chain of custody is important.
Chain of custody, exactly. Second comment, you mentioned that you'd had some interaction with the director of the ACLU.
I was recommended to go to speak with the Director of ACLU. Unfortunately, at that time, he had left the ACLU.
Okay.
And in speaking with the ACLU, there was not a positive response. It was run in circles.
That would be, that's where I was going with this, is the Freedom Group has tried contacting them, many individuals have tried contacting them, and universally the ACLU has just doesn't want anything to do with it.
Should have told him you were Arab. That probably would have taken more.
I mean, I've gotten several rejections from them. I've tried several times.
We can't guess.
Don't know why.
It's just speculation. I mean, I have no idea why the ACLU wouldn't take an interest in this, other than maybe they're scared.
Yeah.
You know,
They did represent me on the sexual assault part of my case.
They don't want to have
With the
anything
police
to do with probably taking on something of this nature. This is large.
If anyone can find and locate Sanjeev Berry, while he was the director of ACLU, he actually gave presentations on the precautions we had to look at. One, we're talking about RFID technologies. He is very well knowledgeable of it, but I've tried to locate him every which way. But now that I have my Rick Martinez involved, that's a venue that I'm going to seek just to make sure we can locate him and interview him.
Do we have any idea? You said something. You said, "Oh, we use those in Afghanistan."
Correct.
And do we have any idea the purpose of these things?
Yes. What Rick Reddington said, he's now running he's in the primary in our county. What Rick Reddington said is whenever they captured prisoners, they would knock them out, they would implant them, and let them escape or let them go. And they utilize it for reconnaissance information.
Really?
Yes.
So they can track.
Well, this is a little microcomputer, and a microcomputer can do several things. It can transmit and it can receive data packets. So, and that's how my plight was. Don't go in saying you're hearing voices. What I explained to this is that these things, I show a picture of it. I show each segmentation of it. I have it bookmarked, and I can show them the technology. And I explain it as this. It can transmit and receive data packets. And when you tell a doctor there's no doctor-patient privilege here, confidentiality, their ears start to perk up. Our physician always has a witness in the room. Does not come in by himself. So they know this is going into litigation. They know this surrounds a murder case. And they know that it surrounds many other things in a whole different perspective.
So your physician
the thing is, I'm blessed in the fact that I've done a lot for the community. I've sacrificed a lot for the community. And just step back, and you'll understand why I say that. How the fire departments, when I was the operations manager for the private ambulance companies, I was liaison for three counties. It was Sacramento County, Yolo County, and Placer County. And what was happening, and they use this thing called system status management. And you're a private company, you're all about profit, profit, profit. Unfortunately, there's a sacrifice there. And when we wanted to do profit, what was happening is sometimes we're down to one ambulance covering several hundred thousands of people and responsible for over 100,000 people's lives. I worked part-time for the fire departments while I was the supervisor. And on one night, I was working a shift for Elko Fire Department, and we got a call out in Wilton, which was out, way, way out. And it was a 7-year-old girl having chest pain. And because there was a legal battle going on, we knew that that area was not covered very well. So what the fire department there decided to do was take this van, and they would tag along, follow along on the calls. When I got there, was a 7-year-old girl who had a severe cardiac history, and we found her to be in VTAC. And if you know anything about VTAC, VTAC is a very life-threatening arrhythmia. And I can tell you this, it's not what I expected to see in a 7-year-old. So I radioed to the private ambulance dispatch for my employees, and I asked for an ETA, and they said it'd be 45 minutes. And it was unacceptable. And I looked at the